a hard punch,
Yeah.
I'm going to leave a bruise behind, which is not bad. Yeah, we're like, okay, he's going to recover from it. That's the one aspect where your muscles and your skeletal system is your armor. Okay, but I want to bypass that and torpedo the water in your system. Your system is 75% water, so that's where the relaxed part comes in. So that the flinch, it goes beyond the flinch uh,
Yes. Yes.
reflex. It
So,
just goes beyond that.
like for my own Sifu, I have seen that in many cases he used to, like when he was a little younger and had a little more time to give us, he used to demonstrate this sometimes, like to just completely absorb the power of the blow and then just circulate it back. Not not all of us could pick it up to the like it wouldn't even actually really leave a mark. Like I
Okay.
think it used to take a lot of focus, but like it used to be like a full circulation, and we'd actually feel the warmth and everything. So
See, that's okay for
it was
somebody
good to
who's
watch.
like who doesn't know what they're doing. Like if another master attacked him, then he would be dead.
Yeah, then he'll obviously not
You know,
do that.
like
No,
students, you can, yeah.
yeah, but that was actually he used to also teach us some exercises for like balancing out those two-man flows, basically
Mm.
to sort of free us up. So used to be over there.
Yeah, that's the
Obviously,
internal arts.
yeah,
Yeah, but then Bhaiya, just to weigh in, that was the part where because I know Mehboob, he's a friend of mine. He was actually demonstrating the application of pushing hands from Tai Chi. So it was not
See,
that
yes,
he was using it in
application of
combat.
pushing hands, Baba. Each move of Tai Chi is Dimmak, is striking acupuncture
Yeah,
points.
Denmark.
Okay, and I'm talking about the old yang. Now the pushing hands. The reason why you push and pull is that you're kind of instead of hitting, the next best thing is you can show how to push and pull. That's what it is. So the whole idea of Tai Chi, for example, like I shared this point, right, to help. But if you hit somebody with that, you're going to cause them severe emotional trauma.
In fact,
this
Yasser bhai,
one,
since you
this
were
one
saying
basically.
the
Yeah,
Tilasa Kalam and the Nakshatra Kalam, if I remember
yeah.
correctly. In fact, even this one, the Manivandha Marmam, there's a strike to that. If it's hit properly, the other person will collapse. I myself collapsed, so I know what it feels like. Yeah. So he said, "You want to see?" And that was not the kung fu person. That's the
That,
Kalaripattu
yeah,
Assembly
yeah,
who was teaching us. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I like a lot of these can have a like backfiring effect if you do not know what you're doing.
See,
Thankfully, we have had good teachers. Yeah.
one is that don't let anybody use you as a guinea pig.
Hmm. Hmm.
Why? Because you don't know what underlying medical conditions you may have. That will bring it to the surface. Like somebody, okay, I'm just gonna show you that if I do this over here, you're gonna collapse,
Mm,
whatever. Yes, you'll collapse and they'll revive you. But what if it brings in some genetic condition that would never have happened in your
occurred.
life, but it comes out. So you've got to not let anybody do it to you. That's yeah. So there's a very specific martial arts stuff. So if you want to pick my brains, go ahead, please.
Uh,
Milajit.
so I was like really interested in basically as you were talking about the lifting, basically the lifting and the cutting aspects of Bagua, because we had tried to study a little bit of Bagua but didn't get a proper master. So that used to have a lot, like there was a lot of issue with that, but that interested me because like we have even seen places where maybe somebody who is using a lot of shingi power, the cutting basically just sort of seems to, maybe it's also dependent on skill, but they are accessing stuff which doesn't seem possible almost,
You should have met me when I
specifically
was
the
in Calcutta.
yes,
I would have shown
actually.
you Bagua. I studied under 5 different teachers, Bagua,
Oh my god.
from 96 onwards.
Oh god.
And the old masters who are no longer there, like the guys who really got the.
Yes, actually, I guess, sir, like for these, for the some of the more traditional styles, unless you study under the right people, it's, I don't know how much worthwhile it is. Also,
Dada, I had a query,
See,
entirely a
actually, it's
personal
also
one.
not that bad. Hmm. Please go ahead.
No, yeah, okay, Dada. Yeah, Dada, I'm sorry I interrupted you. What I was asking was, I have seen both Bagua and Shingi and Tai Chi in demonstration. Of course, I do not know any of the arts. I know a little bit of Shingi because I was practicing when, Bhaiya, Juthajit was teaching me some. But I have always found that Bagua, even though I like, I seem to like it the most, perhaps more so than Shingi, it requires a lot of more physical fitness in all appearance than either of the two arts. It seems much more energetic. So I am 45. So is it possible for me at any point of time, if I can find the time and the the space and the master, for me to pick it up even now at anyway? Because I
Absolutely,
okay.
absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely. See, Bagua is not. These are all very. They actually the body mechanics. They
Hmm.
don't add stuff. They delete the
Okay.
incorrect movements that you've imbibed throughout your life.
Hmm.
You essentially go back to being like how you were as a child.
Hmm.
Okay. Now in Bagua, and my guarantee to my students at least is it
Hmm.
takes 6 to 8 months, not more.
Oh, okay.
To get the internal, it takes 6 to 8 months.
Okay.
And to answer your question, yes, you need to
Hmm.
learn correctly, but the material itself is made in such a way that it teaches you.
Okay. Okay.
It teaches
Because
you and aligns you correctly.
yeah, the circle walk and everything, we were just, as Bhaiya said, we were picking up just some basics and the Fajin breathing, etc. They said that even when you're moving, you're actually in a state of yeah. I Thanks to whatever little Japanese I had studied, that when I am aware of motion, but then for people like us who are not so deeply trained in these arts, it was a great high, but of course we couldn't. I could not achieve any of that. But with Bagua Chang, whatever little I saw was because I don't know that I'm sure you would weigh in yourself. But I was born in the year of the dragon. So my master, before he passed away, the first teacher I had, he said that you're aligned to Pakwa, so why don't you go more for that
Yeah,
than
why
coming
don't
in
you?
for yeah. Hmm.
See, these
So
are not these things are not rocket science. Yeah,
yeah.
everybody likes to come across as being mysterious and enigmatic
Hmm.
when it's really not like that. A lot of junk has been put on Bagua
Hmm.
and Shingi in terms of
Hmm.
theory over the years
Hmm.
because the scholars got hold of it,
Hmm.
right? And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But it's not really that. It's the simplest thing you can do in terms of an energy system.
Hmm.
Bagua is far superior to Tai Chi or Shingi in
Hmm.
getting the energy out. Okay,
Right.
and it's not that difficult. It's not mystical also. And for you to get into and what it's actually a PhD level system. That means whatever experience you bring into it, you you now use Bagua to convey it. Okay, let's say so. In the old days, 5 years of training in martial arts was the basic requirement if you wanted to
Hmm.
start Bagua.
Hmm.
Therefore, whatever you learned, you would be expressing it through the Bagua. And
Hmm.
Bagua is so much so that every person's Bagua is different
Hmm.
because it's about change. It has to be different.
Hmm.
So if I give you 2 or 3 or 4 movements,
Hmm.
right, and you learn them, the basics, but how you
Hmm.
combine them and how you do them is entirely up to you. That's the creativity.
Yes, yes, Dada. Because I used to be a student of history when I was you know doing my studies right up to my first masters, and I'm aware of the I Ching and the Tao Te Ching. I've studied it in English. I
Hmm.
don't know any Chinese, and the connection to the Bagua and the use of the mirrors and what it means in the way of philosophy. Some of it I have studied. I don't know the entire thing. So I was very interested, but I have one question with which I want to end this line of questioning. Are you teaching this online? Like, is there a class or something which we can take to some of our or
See, I've what I've done is I've introduced bug like I one of the energy systems
hmm,
that I found very useful. Okay, and I'll give you an example also. I had a student called Rakesh. When he came to study from me, he was 140 kgs.
oh God,
Okay,
okay, hmm,
and he had like difficulty in remembering patterns and movements.
hmm,
So I introduced him to one of the systems that I had, which was a very straightforward system. Yeah, he also put in the work, and in 2 years he came down to 80 kgs, whatever.
Oh, okay.
But he became so good only with this one particular thing that it was virtually impossible to get through his guard.
Hmm.
So
yes.
that can be taught online, and that
Okay.
I've been teaching online as well. Throughout in the past 1 year, and
Okay.
it's worked and it's helped people.
Yes, Dada, because we were also thinking that but there are some people out here who are seriously interested in the serious arts.